Hello everyone, I am your host, Roy Angel. Welcome to my Let's Play for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, version 2.0. Now why 2.0 you may ask? It's simply because I already did a few episodes of a Let's Play where I was playing as a member of the Gangrel clan, but unfortunately there was problems with the video. I noticed on YouTube that it was quite bad, as in it kept glitching, there were lags and all sorts. And I figured it must be down to the fact that I was trying to record at the high-end 1080 HD spec, which was causing problems it seemed for the post-editing footage. Excuse me. So I had to try and reduce it down to 1280 by 720. Hopefully it hasn't made too much of a difference, to be honest, because, well, my native resolution is 1440 by 900. So it hasn't seemed to make that much of a difference so far in my test videos, so hopefully this is going to work better this time. But anyway, I'm going to treat this as if it's a brand new Let's Play. So to start with the introduction, why Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines? Now, this is one of my favourite games. I completely recommend it for anyone who happens to get it on cheap on a Steam sale, or even buy it right now, brand new. It is a very good RPG game. It's over 10 years old now, and yet it's still got a lot of support from the fans out there. I'm running with the unofficial patch 9.2, I believe, which I haven't actually had a proper go with yet, so it'll be interesting to see what changes they introduced. And it's just a very good game. I mean, I completely recommend it. The thing for anyone who wants to play it. As for why the game, is because I became quite interested in the World of Darkness, run by White Wolf. I originally picked up a copy of GURPS sourcebook. Now GURPS is a paper RPG known as the generic universal role-playing system. Picked that up when I was a kid, and I came across then the sourcebook for Vampire the Masquerade. Realised it wasn't the actual game, it was just a sourcebook from another game line. But the history, the characters, the clans, everything about it was just so interesting to read. And while eventually I went on to the World of Darkness, the new edition I should say, but when it first came out, and now I would say I'm infinitely more knowledgeable about the Vampire the Requiem or Werewolf the Forsaken than I am with Bloodlines. I hope to try and enlighten anyone with certain things in case I can explain it better than the game does. So anyway, without further ado, I'm just going to double check that I am actually on 720. Like, you know, I've been playing on and off with my own resolution, so yes, 1280, perfect. And without further ado, let's get this new game started. Right, so that's a brief cap into what the World of Darkness is. It's basically, imagine our world, but darker, more grittier. There's more murders, more missing people. You know, everything just seems a little bit darker. I mean, if a good representation would be anyone who's seen any of the Crow films. Imagine that world, and that's what you got as the World of Darkness. Anyway, as we've got here, we've got a new game starter creating a new character. Would you like to answer a series of questions about the type of vampire you would like to play, allow the game to create your character, or go directly to the character sheet? Now, I have no problem doing that, but because the questions are quite interesting, I'm going to go and do for the questions. Now for this Let's Play, I am going to play it as if it's me in that position. So I play the game enough that I know how to do pretty much all the quests and that, so I would try and do it more along the lines of if I was in that situation, how would I do it? Which might be a bit boring. I mean, for some it could be arguably a Mary Sue, but that's how I like to approach these sort of games where you create your own character rather than play as a named character, is at least try and have the first goes as yourself, whether it's in Fable, Elder Scrolls, you know, any of them. If it's something like Half-Life or, you know, Hitman or something where you're playing as a character, I'll do it that way. But, you know, I try to do it my way for these sort of open excuse me, open character ones. So we're going to do this, and would you like your character to be a male or female? I'm a guy, so male. As you're walking home late at night, you hear footsteps, glance back, and suddenly realize someone is following you. Do you turn to confront them, or duck behind a tree to lose them? Now, I teach martial arts. I'm black belt in Taekwondo. I teach self-defense classes. I'm not boasting. I can fight if I have to, but I've always been brought up as well, and I believe in only using, defending myself when I have to. So in this sort of situation, I would actually duck behind the tree to lose them, because you never know, they might not be following me. You don't know. So hit that. So we got here. You're outbid at an auction for a macabre piece of art that you just must have. You know the collector who won it? You even been to his house, do you? Get a few drinks into him later on and persuade him to sell it to you. Wait until he leaves, find his spare key and make it look like a robbery. Or write an unflattering critique on the artist, get it published, and just wait for your friend to try and unload it. I'm not going to really try and write a critique. I'm not going to do that. I'll just get a few drinks into my friend or the person and persuade him. Being a night person, you watch a lot of night TV movies. I like the S test between night person / vampire. 3 movies are on. Which one do you watch? Fist of the Monkey King, a wire filmed with that scene where Rue beats 20 armed men with his bare hands. Sword of the Bushi, a Japanese film where a lone samurai cuts a path through a Gary Yakuza. Or Sergeant Murder Stein III. 3. The cop that doesn't play by the rules takes on the drug cartel that kidnapped his daughter with only his trusty 44 to back him up. Sounds a bit like Taken, actually. Out of these, I would actually pick that one. Just because it sounds like Taken, or like an old version of it. Let's see. While in a club, you spot your ex-roommate who skipped out after taking your stuff and leaving you with a stack of bills. He looks dead drunk. Do you grab him by the head and repeatedly smash his face into the bar? Quite satisfying, I imagine. Well, call the cops. See you in court, buddy. Now, it seems very odd to be able to call the cops in order to try and get my friend arrested because he owes me thing, which in Britain is a civil case matter. But I wouldn't bash his face into the bar either, so, well, call the cops. You met someone at a club and they took you back to their place. Things are starting getting interesting when all of a sudden you hear someone come in the front door. Their spouse. Do you head to the kitchen, let them see you, pretend you're a distant cousin and they were nice enough to let you stay on the couch? Gather up your clothes, hide behind the door and slip out the apartment as quietly as possible? Or calmly explain you have no idea they were married and that you intend to leave and never come back, keeping your finger over the speed dial in case you need the police. Believe it or not, I'm actually going to pick number 1 because I have actually done something like that. It's not my most proudest moment in my life, but in my defense, I didn't know. She had a boyfriend, or it was I went out, when I was in university, I met up with this girl, kind of went back to hers, and woke up next morning with her phone ringing because her boyfriend was just turning up in a couple of minutes, and I just managed to come down the stairs. He rang on the doorbell, so I had to just go into the living room and pretend I was her cousin. Not my proudest moment in my life, but we're going to go with that one. I probably did that just because I had this game. Right. So what we got here. The world is a cruel and unforgiving place, but you've gotten by so far. Why? It may be cruel for you, but for me it's hilarious. But when you're as talented and attractive as I am, the world is your plaything. Now this is the part where I get to pick my clan. We have either the Toreadors, I believe is how you pronounce them, where essentially they're the charismatic, good-looking vampire type. You know, anyone, as a couple of examples, we're talking maybe Edward from Twilight's thing, or just that sort of good-looking toy boy person that just seems to have everyone drawn to him. The Malkavians, which is the top one, which are insane. Now, out of the two, I've done the Let's Play as the Toreador, but to be honest, I never really played one as the Malkavians. So just, I won't say they're the biggest appeal to me. I mean, they're interesting enough, and the game does go out of the way to make their experience quite different. But I've never actually played as them properly, and I think I'm going to go as them. So we're going to choose that. And here we go. You have been embraced by the Malkavian clan. Afflicted with insanity, Malkavians use their madness to provide them with surprising and sometimes disturbing insights. The inner voice may tell them of someone's true intent, or it may betray them completely. Okay, so we're not going to show any more help text because I can figure the rest of this out. And okay, this is so the game's already picked some stats on me based on the fact that of my answers. It seems. Although, actually, they seem to be quite similar to the ones I would have picked anyway. Odd. Okay, anyway, we're going to reset them. I'll come back to that. So this is me, apparently. I don't really look like this in real life, just FYI. I normally at least go around with the top on. And I don't have... Well, I'm actually bald, so that hair doesn't look anything like anything I've had. But there you go, that's the explanation about the Malkavians. And we can also pick history. Now this is just certain things you can choose right now. They don't affect the gameplay itself necessarily, just more along the lines of how certain disciplines may act or what your priorities are when it comes to doing your counter sheet. So I'll just let you read through these quickly so you can see what they're like. So we got that one, this one, the occult nuts, which I think I'll probably go for actually, reading through it. Subtly insane, completely batshit. Doomseer, interesting. Ninja, now I know I do martial arts, but this one always made me laugh and I have read it. Thing. That's busy as well. To your code on the silent killer. Ducks too. Ducks are anime female as well. Okay. No, I don't do drugs. Got deformities. The nutty weatherman. Oh. Sorry about that, actually. It always happens whenever I'm trying to do this history bit. It just exits the game. I don't understand why. The rest of the game works fine, just this bit. But anyway, just going to show you the last two quickly. So you got that and that. So out of these, I mean, as you can see, each one has got certain strengths and weaknesses. But we're going to go for the occult nut. This strikes me as a little bit more thing. I am quite interested in the occult, or not as anything like a witch or anything. I just enjoy reading mythology and stuff like that. And I do like dark fantasies, urban fantasy books. So yeah, I'm going to have that one. So we're going to go to the character sheet, and as you can see, we have 3 different lots for each one, attributes and abilities, and with each one having a couple of different traits, and you put dots into them to represent your skill in them or how good you are in them, and each one it contributes to a certain feat. For example, if I was going to do with unarmed combat, that depends on strength and brawl, as you can see on the left, the one slightly highlighted in yellow. And so we're just going to go through these. Physical, can't do anything about them, although if I remember right, in the New World of Darkness, 2 points in its things supposed to represent the average human one, so apparently I'm weaker than human, normal. But it's a game, we're going to excuse that. Social, out of these, I would say I'm better at manipulation. Not that I'm a manipulative person, I've been told I can pretty good with reading people and understanding things, so we're going to go with that. And mental, we have intelligence. I like to think I'm a pretty smart guy, so we got that. And wits or perception. Now apparently I'm pretty good with both, my friends would say anyway, so yeah, I think we're going to just go for wits for now. I think we can always increase perception using XP points later. Okay, abilities, we have 1 in talents, which I said I'd like to do martial arts, so I'm in brawl. We're going to have 1 in stealth, and because I'm pretty sneaky, I like to my feet to spy things. And melee, I do know how to use weapons, but I'm going to be cheeky a little bit. I'm actually going to go for security, just because that's going to be more useful in this game. Knowledges, we're going to have 2 points in scholarship, have 1 in computers, and say 1 in investigation. Right, and then disciplines. Disciplines, by the way, are like the vampire powers. They range from your typical vampire ones, such as obfuscate, which is the ability to go invisible, or when vampires seem to read minds, that's auspics, as well as other ones in this game. You've got blood magic, you've got the ability to mesmerize your foes, you've got all sorts. But as well as this one, which is the unique one for the Malkavians, is called Dementation, which, as you can see, that channels madness and pours into the minds around you. So you can make your madness affect others. And first one gives me it so I can actually sort of stop them in tracks just by making them burst into laughter or cry. And that one causes me to have a bit of an advantage in fighting. But out of these ones, I'm going to go for obfuscate. Mainly just because that one lets me hide as long as I don't move, and that one lets me actually move if I'm crouched and attack, so we're going to go for that. We're not going to skip the intro because I believe that does help a little bit with the game, and we're going to accept. Fame. And now you get to see my character apparently turn into a vampire. Don't worry, I'm not going to be talking during most of the videos. Fame when they're talking, I'm just going to Fame right now. I mean, this has got a big kinky place. Handcuffs on the pole, isn't it? No, obviously she has a willy. No, I'm joking. Sorry. Bad joke. Okay, this is kind of new. Last time I remember playing that, I don't remember there being like blood things on the neck. So that's new. Alright, but there you go. You've now seen my character being being embraced. Embraced is a fancy name for making a vampire, which basically in this version of vampires involves them draining you of blood and then feeding you some of their own blood, which causes the transformation. And whoop. Okay, this is the part I'm going to shut up now, so I'll join you after this.
My fellow kindred, my apologies for disrupting any business or interfering with prior engagements you may have had this evening. It's unfortunate that the affair that gathers us together tonight is a troubling one. We are here because the laws that bind our society, the laws that are the fabric of our existence, have been broken. As Prince, I am within my rights to grant or deny the kindred of this city the privilege of siring. Many of you have come to me seeking permission, and I have endorsed some of these requests. However, the accused that sits before you tonight was not refused permission. Indeed, my permission was never sought at all. They were caught shortly after the embrace of this child. It pains me to announce the sentence, as up to tonight I considered the accused a loyal and upstanding member of our organization. But as some of you may know, the penalty for this transgression is death. Know that I am no more adjudicator than I am a servant to the law that governs us all. Let tonight's proceedings serve as a reminder to our community that we must adhere to the code that binds our society, lest we endanger all of our blood. Forgive me. Let the penalty commence.
Okay, don't know what's happened here, but the thing it always happens with this resolution for some reason. There we go, back to normal.
Which leads to the fate of the ill-begotten progeny. Without a sire, most children are doomed to walk the earth never knowing their place, their responsibility, and most importantly, the laws they must obey. Therefore, I have decided that
this is bullshit!
if Mr. Rodriguez would let me finish, I have decided to let this kindred live. They shall be instructed in the ways of our kind and be granted the same rights. Let no one say I am unsympathetic to the plights and causes of this community. I thank you all for attending these proceedings, and I hope their significance is not lost. Good evening.
So yes, just there you happen to see the prince get owned by the man, Nines Rodriguez.
Your sire, tragic, my apologies. But you see, there is a strict code of conduct that all of us must adhere to if we wish to survive. When anyone breaks these laws, they undermine the well-worn fabric of our centuries-old society. Understand my predicament. Allowing you to live makes me directly responsible for your subsequent behavior. So, what I'm offering is not generosity, but the opportunity to transcend the fate woven by your sire. This is your trial. You will be brought to Santa Monica. There you will meet an agent by the name of Mercurio. He will provide the details of your labor. I've shown you great clemency. Prove it was more than a wasted gesture, fledgling. Don't come back until you do. Good evening.
And yeah, like I was saying, the prince got owned by the guy that stood up, Lines Rodriguez. As you can imagine, what was supposed to happen, he was going to sentence me to death. But he didn't, because that would have made him look, like he was being the tyrant against the rest of them for basically sentencing me to death for something that wasn't my fault. Now, just as a quick explanation of some of the things, he's the prince. The prince is the equivalent of the prime minister or president in that he's got the most power, but there is other aspects to the sort of vampire parliament, for lack of a better way of describing it, such as they do have a council of elders and stuff like that. But he's the main one in charge, essentially. And yes, one of the things then as well about the Sire is in World of Darkness, the Camarilla, which is the sort of vampire body, so to speak, that the prince is a part of, they have certain laws to try and hide the fact that vampires exist from humanity. Because let's face it, when you're talking about maybe having a few dozen vampires in a city with several million people, then it's going to be a big deal to try and keep your mouth shut about vampires existing. So they have certain laws, one of which is the law against progeny, which basically you're not allowed to turn people into vampires without previous permission, because it's treated almost like a reward for good service to the prince and that. So that's why she got executed, is because she turned to me without getting permission. And the last thing, if anyone's just interested, in World of Darkness, stakes don't kill vampires. They sort of put them in a comatose state known as torpor, which is why everyone got stabbed with stakes at the beginning when we were in the bedroom and no one died. So anyway, we're going to carry on with this now, and this is just telling you about some of the character things. So we're going to come out here and meet probably my favourite guy in this game, or one of, Jack.
What a scene, man.
Excuse me.
Then it is plop you out here like a naked baby in the woods. How about that? Look, it's probably a lot for you to take in, so, why don't you let me show you the ropes? Wait a second.
Okay. One of the things about being a Malkavian, like I said, is that you are insane, which this game treats as giving you these interesting lines, such as this to say. And depending on your clan, certain characters treat you differently. Like a lot of people now are going to treat me different because I'm a Malkavian, which you'll see in a second when I push this. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, because if anyone actually takes the time to analyze what my options are and which ones I pick, you can find interesting things about the character and about the world. So let me know in the comments, anyone who's watching this, see if you can figure out what particular things might say, because I mean, I'd be interested to know as well. And because like I said, first time I really properly played as Malkavian, so I don't know what's going to happen later on with some of the quotes. Anyway, as we got here, the Reign of Ages plots again to wash away Revelation.
What? Oh, man. And you're a goddamn Malkavian, too. Wow. You really are fucked.
Now, normally Malkavians don't necessarily all talk like this, just FYI. Normally they can be pretty as simple as me and you, simply, just with a bit of a personality disorder thing. Maybe not so much PC nowadays, considering that a lot of the way they were represented in some of the older World of Darknesses is through typical mental disorders, and that it's just quite a thing nowadays. But yeah, anyway, we're going to carry on with this, so sorry. Who is this dark demon I see before me?
I'm Jack. What's important is I'm offering help. You make it back from Santa Monica with your hide and we'll trade life stories, okay? Till then, I got about this much time. You in or out?
Okay, so I could just skip the tutorial now and go straight to doing the main ones, but I like doing the tutorial. It gives you a few extra XPs on that, and I feel it's part of the game to do this. So I shall undertake your dark tutelage.
Alright. Why don't we, step out back here?
I am where I am, and that's not in the theatre of death.
Christ, it's stuffy in there, huh? This is much better. Now, we ain't got much time, but I figure somebody should fill you in on the bare bones stuff at least. Could save your hide. You look wobbly. You even had a drink yet?
Wobbly are the walls of my mind.
Oh man, we're popping a cherry here. Oh, you're gonna love this. Alright, check it out. Blood, it's your new rack of lamb, your new champagne, like your new fucking heroin, kid. Get ready though, cause hey, it's never as sweet as the first time.
Sweet like a prom date?
Well, down around the corner there, so does human, or SOB can't find his car.
Can you hear that creepy voice in the background? That's never happened before. Huh. How do I do this dread deed?
Alright. You go down there, casually. You creep up on him. You bare those little fangs and feed. Don't worry if you weren't captain of the wrestling team or something. Because it'll come so naturally you think you've done it 1,000 times already.
Will he then carry this curse in his veins? Basically, will he turn into a vampire himself?
Forget that comic book crap, kid. It don't work that way. Now go for it. Be sure, though, and this is important, so listen up. Be sure not to drain them dry, okay? It might be hard to resist, but don't kill them.
I'll go to drain the luscious liquid. So, you can quickly read through those. Yes, we're going to go and feed on a vampire person here. So sorry for skipping through those, but I already know what this is. So hello, stranger. You happen to have a man half naked walk into the street and just stand in front of you. And feed. Okay, so as you can see on the top there, his blood meter, how much blood's in him, and we don't need to feed anymore, we've got a full bar. There is a particular reason why when you feed on him it sort of causes a spotlight effect where you can't see anything outside of it, and why this man now is quite in a dazed state. Vampires in, well, the World of Darkness have a thing called the Kiss, which when they feed on humans, and it's not in a war like a battle-like situation for the most part, it really is a feel-good sensation. It's, you know, it's sort of just like almost having a giant orgasm or being that bliss that you feel, you know, in when you've done drugs or something like that. You know, I mean, I've never done drugs, but I'm trying to describe it. Which means, and it feels like that both not only for the person you're feeding from, but from you as well. So I like the fact that by having the spotlight effect, it does sort of like focus you on the here and now. I mean, you know how it is after you had a very good meal or you've just had sex and you've, you know, like pre-bliss and you just feel a bit languid, you don't focus properly. It's sort of supposed to be like that. But anyway, if you happen to be under the age of 16, by the way, here in the UK, and was thinking about sex, you'll find out when you turn legal, okay? Anyway, so let's go back here and meet Jack again.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah, you're feeling it. I can see it in your eyes. You're a born-again predator. Feeling that blood bubbling inside you, lifting you up. That's it, kid. That's what it's all about right there.
So spooky. And when do I choose the colour of my cape?
Alright, now, you got the blood, you're feeling all kick-ass, feeling better than your best day living, but wait, it gets better. All kindred, that's our word for vampire. All kindred have a few things in common. Things that set them right square above humans on the food chain.
Apart from the fact that we feed on them? Anyway, tell me this tale.
Like sharper senses, a body that can take a beating, and if you play your cards right, eternal life. That's no sure bet, but still a chance of immortality's not a bad deal. And that's just for starters. Fringe benefits for joining the club.
My lifeline will go on forever?
Well, you can still be destroyed, but forget the books and the holes. Guard,
Excuse me?
a cross, shove it right up their ass. A stake, only if it catches you in the heart, and then it just paralyzes you. Running water, that's no problem. I bathe. Occasionally. Now, a shotgun blast to the head. Oh, that's trouble, boy. Fire, that's real trouble. Sunlight, well, you catch the sunrise and it's all overkill. Get it?
So yeah, that's changed a bit in the second release of Vampire the Requiem. That sunrise doesn't automatically kill you, but in this, it does a lot of damage, just like fire does. And depending in real life where you aim at a vampire, head or heart, that tends to do the trick. But yeah, now you know in game why we didn't die when a stake went through us. So anyway, so like a bad sunburn.
Okay now. The fuck is this? You get inside here and head upstairs. Beat up a bit. I'm just gonna go see what the ruckus is.
Ooh, something's happening. Okay. Right. Okay. By the way, while I remember, if you check out the video description, you'll find a list of two mods that I use for this game. One is for the eyes thing, because I find personally playing the original game that the eyes don't seem to be as detailed. You know, it just feels a bit like bland. Whereas the mod, which you can find in the video description, will let you see like the texture changes so they look more realistic. Might not be 100% easy to see at this resolution, but if you're interested to play Vampire the Masquerade yourself and you want a good mod for graphics, go for that one. I completely recommend it. The other one, of course, if I just carry on reading for this, the other one, of course, is for a character you'll meet later on in this game. So, oh, by the way, this is okay. I think this is another sign of the Malkavian insanity. Not only do you hear voices now, but you've got stuff like this happening. So there's no reason for these to be wiggling around, and they don't do in a typical game. So yeah, sign of madness there. There are other cool things, like there's something involving the telly actually talking to you later, and all sorts of stuff. Weird and wonderful stuff.
Stay away from the windows. Oh, it's a Sabbat raid. Sabbat, they're I was hoping to spare you this shit till later. Sabbat, well, they're mostly mindless, bloodthirsty assholes. That's all you need to know for now, alright?
Where does this path lead?
The Sabbat got wind of the gathering here, so they figured they'd raise a little hell and put a little heat on the new prince.
Tell me of the Jester Prince.
No time for political rundown. Job one, get out of here alive. Sabbat might be mindless, but they hit like a Mack truck, like raging savages. Nothing a fledgling like you wants to mess with.
If not the sword.
Shh. Heads up. Back away.
Oops. That went a bit earlier than intended, I think. Right, you've just met the sheriff of the town. Alright, I'll explain a bit more in a second.
Alright, we gotta vamoose out the back quick. I'll stay and keep a watch out. You get us into the office. The door's around the corner here.
I shall invade this orifice. Okay. So, yeah, you just met the sheriff of the town. The sheriff is almost like the head enforcer for the police and the rest of the Camarilla. And he is a big dude. Why does he look so inhuman? If I remember right, there's some stories about the fact that he's this particular clan which appears in North Africa, if I remember right. But something beginning with L, if I think, but I'm terrible. As far as I know, he's a gangrel. He's their vampire clan, well known for being more in touch with the beast, like the inner monster of a kindred. So it means that he can't. So that's why he has powers over the spirits thing. It's a bit different in this animalism, which is the discipline in this game that lets you control the spirits. Don't work like that in the RPG. It just in the pen and paper version, they are essentially just allows you to control and talk to animals. A very basic example. Why does he have red eyes and like bear-like hands? It's because when they frenzy, when they start losing their humanity, they, if I remember right, they start gaining animal features. Predatory animals usually, like it could be bear-like hands, it could be a tail, fins, scaly skin, cat eyes, it could be all sorts of weird and marvelous stuff. So that's the ability for lock. So yeah, that's what happened there. And we will be seeing more of him eventually. Right.
Shortcut. Well, nicely done, though.
Excuse me.
In life, were you?
I need my share of demons.
Cool. Now, if you want a lesson on how really not to act, take notes from those Sabat assholes. You're a big bad vampire. Yeah, great, congrats. Now keep it to yourself. You go roar and you beat your chest, and that's what you did expect.
Why need we hide our nature?
It's the same reason you don't let humans see you feeding. It's why the wolf doesn't want the sheep to know he's there. It's also why you don't go juggling dumpsters or outrun the 815 from Sacramento, and it's why you didn't know any of this when you woke up this morning.
My eyes are beginning to open.
Keep our secret, and you make things easier on all of us. We're living in the age of cell phone cameras. Fuck-ups ain't tolerated. Makes sense enough, right? Well, it ain't a casual thing for a fledgling like you.
My mind is beginning to cloud. Shine a light and explain.
That party back there with the guy in a suit and the Matilda gorilla? The assholes...
What was that whisper just
then?
then?
That's the Camarilla. They make a tidy business out of enforcing vampire laws like this one.
God, those creepy voices I'm going to hear in the background is a weird thing. I'm going to have to go back and try and listen to them. Right, so these Camarilla are my comrades?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think some other time, maybe. I like to let people form their own opinions.
My minds have many opinions.
Alright, now don't worry, because I know the area. You know what? I'm glad we're in this situation, you and I. It illustrates a point. You gotta utilize your surroundings.
Yeah, excuse me for my coughing and that. I had a sore throat over the weekend, and while that's kind of gone, it seems to be replaced with a bloody cold now. So, can't be helped, I guess. Anyway, paint me a picture.
You do what you gotta do. Theft, destruction of property, breaking and entering. These will be the least of your sins before the night's out. So look around here. You gotta get out the back there through that magnetically sealed door. There must be a key someplace.
I shall seek this key. So there's a bit thing about what you can do in certain areas. And, oh, just by the way, this poster is for a band that appears in this game called Darling Violetta, if I pronounce them right. I recommend looking them up in that. They were the people who did the theme song for the TV show Angel, the Buffy the Vampire spin-off. And yeah, they got another song in this as well called A Smaller God, which I quite like. But anyway, and going back to the game, the Sabat, which he's talking about, are the sort of one of the other main factions, so to speak, of vampires. You've got the Camarilla, the Anarchs, and who believe in just doing what they want to do, and the Sabat, which basically believe that they are going to want to take over a thing and become the rulers of the world, essentially. They'll explain it better. It's been a little while since I've done anything involving the Sabat. So anyway, we're supposed to try and find this safe by using this computer, which is why we got all this coming up when I'm looking at them. So, password, chop chop. Now, I could just try and, so I need to enter safe. I could try and guess the password by using my hacking feat, but what's the point when you happen to know the password? So there, and we want unlock. There we go. Yes, I know about this. I thought, I guess I actually go for the tutorial.
Take that key card and head out the back. I'll meet you out in the alley there. I'm gonna check out things from topside.
I will do this deed. Alright, so yeah, that's what the Sabat is. Whoops. Should not reveal myself too late. Thing. Yes, this is definitely a sign of Malkavian madness, because there is no reason for this wire to be fluttered around like that. In fact, I think that is that is one of the things actually. Alright, so there we go. One of the annoying things, which I believe they fixed in a mod for this game, is the fact that in Vampire the Masquerade, the proper game, your wounds don't heal naturally. You have to spend blood to heal it. So it's annoying when this game allows you to heal up your blood, your health, without affecting your blood in the slightest.
Look at them potholes. Those will close up soon enough. Better feed though. There's someone down the stairs here. It's not the freshest catch, but it'll do.
Does blood have vintage and bouquet?
Now, when it comes to feeding, it's quality blood you're looking for, not the quantity. Bums and lowlife don't pack the same punch that a healthy, well-bred human will. Juice bags with a pedigree. That's the good stuff. But you gotta take what you can get. You ever had a PhD, kid? Ooh, that's good stuff.
A thirsty rarely avoid an oasis.
Remember what I said, though. Don't kill them. At least not the innocent ones. You're a monster now. Make
God,
no
that
mistake.
voice is
One of the
creepy.
damned and the fallen. You need to hold on to every last shred of humanity you have.
What if I drain him dry?
An innocent's an innocent. You kill one, even a worthless bum, even by accident, and it's gonna cost you a piece of your own humanity. Bring you closer to that beast you got welling up inside you.
Yes, the dark beast coiled beneath the surface. This is why it's not supposed to feed on kill vamp humans enough for the most part, which he will explain is because each vampire has a...
Beast.
I'll explain after him, actually.
Waiting to take over. When it does, it's like a wild animal wearing your skin. Desperate, scared, reckless. He'll do anything to survive, and it's you that has to deal with the consequences.
What if a human tries to harm me?
I said innocent humans. If some asshole levels a 12 gauge your way, you drain him, skin him, and bash in his skull. Self-preservation is a vital part of humanity, after all. My favorite part, in fact.
Drain, skin, bash and dash.
The only way to fight the beast is to keep in touch with your humanity, and don't go hungry. It's a fine line.
Such lines divide this world from the last.
Alright, now go feed. Careful, though. He's gonna drain fast.
Aye, aye. That voice really is creepy. Okay, I'll have to go and feed on him anyway, but just as he was explaining, the beast is sort of a... How can I put it? The unconscious side of a vampire, the animalistic part that's just obsessed with feeding and surviving, as he said. If you, in this game, and then you got your humanity here. As your humanity goes down, if you start suffering too much damage or you have not enough blood, the computer will take over. You basically go crazy. You'll be running around attacking, trying to feed on enemies, and I lose control until he enters out of frenzy. It does increase my stats, so like when you see someone really go mad, right, their adrenaline's pumping and it takes a lot more to hurt them sometimes. And it's the same like that in this game. But yes, that's why the humanity is so important, is because you don't want to lose control of your character sometimes, and it could happen in the middle of the street, for example, which is not the best thing. And in order to try and hold it back, you have to not only keep yourself fully fed, so you don't enter what I believe is Vasacek, or essentially the hunger frenzy you get from starving yourself, but also from doing other things like you have Watstrek, which is when you're scared and your body, you get hurt too much or what have you, or you face the fire and that happens, or the hunger craze, which has got a name whose name I can't remember right now. So anyway, we're going to feed on him just so get this over done with. And he's a beggar, he's a low life, he's low quality humanity, which is why just then I fed off him so quickly. If you compare him to the other guy,
Not quite as good, huh?
the other guy you first feed from, it will take a lot more of them to try and get the same amount of. Ugh, his neck tasted like your breath smells.
Well, give it a try.
I need to floss the flannel for my fangs. So you can feed on... That's the other thing as well. You can feed on rats. All it does is it gives you a single blood point. I'm not going to bother doing it because I don't need to really, to be honest. Not really recommended, but on the other hand, it's handy for when you're doing missions later on, which involve being in the sewers, or if you're, in particular, one of the clans known as the Nosferatu, which, if you saw in the theatre, there was this really hideous-looking one in the crowd. That's a Nosferatu. They are quite, I'm sad to say, disgusting looking.
Just couldn't bear it, huh?
It's supposed to be like the werewolf. It's supposed to be like the beast is on the outside, so it's a masquerade breach for the most part. You just be walking around town and that. But anyway, back to this. I can see the truth in this rodent taboo.
Keep it down. Got something.
Excuse me. Only one.
Not too much of a threat by himself, but you never know if there's more in shouting range. You're gonna have to sneak past.
Where shall we seek?
The building
Sneak.
across from us with the garage door. There's some double doors on the far side. I'll meet you inside. Just stay low and stick to the shadows. And don't let him see you.
Now you see me? No, you don't.
Alright, go.
Gone. So yes, we're going to be sneaking now. By the way, this episode is going to be longer than I'm going to be doing in the future, apart from like the 10th, 20th, 30th episodes, etc. It's mainly just because I want to try and get the tutorial over and done with in one go, so we can get straight into the main game in the later episodes. So after a hide here a moment. Boom. Alright. Here we are.
Keep it quiet. They're inside here. Seems that shovelhead outside just got separated from his pack. He's wounded too. Go take care of him. Don't worry. He's probably greener than you.
How can you see a shade from here?
The Sabbat, you see, they don't have the most rigorous training program. In fact, that poor sod is lucky if he knows he's a vampire.
My own green paint is still fairly fresh. In other words, I'm only a vampire myself. New vampire.
Probably just turned and beaten over the head. They like to do that with shock troops, cannon fodder, put him out of his misery.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
He is a vampire, so be ready.
Vampire I know, he meets his maker.
Go get him.
Get him. Right, so a bit of the combat mechanics. Bam, bam. Would have been a lot better for him if he actually used his claws, because those can do a lot more damage. Right. Elbow! Bam! Oh, that didn't work. Whoops. Okay, let's grab that. Alright, so we've now got a weapon, but I'm not too worried about that. Then so, come back in here.
That's that. Sounds like we got another pack moving in though. The Sabbat are going all out. Better head underground, avoid stray bullets.
This plan is fine to me.
Alright, head down into the basement through the grate in there. Keep that tire iron handy. I'll be there in a minute.
God, these voices are really going to creep me out in the background. Okay, so let's just drop down. And okay, this is pretty new. I came across this in the last Let's Play, but then this is a brand new thing. You don't normally... Last time I played this before the attempted Let's Play, in version 1.0, didn't actually have this until later on. And he wasn't anything to do with this.
Keep your distance.
Okay, let's talk to you.
Who the hell are you? You involved in all this? Because I'm going to reel this in, and SWAT will be all over this place.
So, yeah, as you saw, you get different ones for the public. We got Haggle, which is for money, intimidation, persuasion, and seduction. Now, my guy's pretty good at persuasion, thanks to the fact of scholarship. Not sure how that works in real life. I mean, I'm pretty well read, I like to think, but even I have a slight problems with it. But saying to people at times, but there you go. Or, as you notice, the top one with the number 1, you can use some of the disciplines you can actually use in conversations. Normally, it's either dementation with the Malkavian, or if you're playing as the Ventru, or even to a lesser extent the Blood Mages, the Tremere, you can use their discipline, which is dominate, to hypnotize people in a conversation. So I could actually make him go crazy using my dementation ability in order to get a special response. So, Christ, some of these things. I'm gonna try off the first one. Flee from the terror. Show me the path.
Yeah, okay. Alright, this way. This will lead us up to the warehouse. We can maybe sneak out that way.
Follow me not if you want to live. I'll be nice. But yes, that's what dementation does, by the way. It takes a little bit of blood because you're using your vampiric abilities, but you can use them in conversations sometimes when you have the option. I think there's a funny one later involving persuading someone that you're their pet turtle, if I remember right. Something to consider anyway. So we're going to now show off our stealth kills. Dum, dum, da-dum. Normally, by the way, it takes a lot more than that typically to try and kill a vampire, but they have to let you do it in this game.
Sabbat's getting scattered. I'm gonna keep an ear to the ground. Be careful going forward here. Could be a whole mess of them holed up.
More fun then. Alright, so there you go, this is our disciplines. And we have two different things, which is blood heal. Like I said, vampires need, in the paper version, to spend blood in order to heal. So, that's that. There's blood buff. It's also the same thing. Humans, we have adrenaline. You know, our bodies pumping. We can use adrenaline to be faster and all that. Vampires don't get it, so instead they can use their blood to get a similar effect. So if I pick that now and choose blood buff, as you can see in the corner now, we get +2 to all our physical stats. Let's just let me do that. Okay, and this is our disciplines, which you can have a quick read. Alright, so I've got all specs. Once you see him, go forward and kill him. So this is what all specs does. Okay, should have worked. There we go. Okay, so you can see then by the colour around him what his things are going to be like. Come on. There we go. I didn't have to. I could have killed him with a tire iron, but I'm better on my hands, so.
I think they're clearing out. There's no need to go stirring up the hornet's nest till we know the score, though. Head through here. Come to an elevator around the way.
To our next encounter at the elevator.
Meet you there. Don't let them catch you.
I'll do the fishing. I say, Malkavians do have a funny turn of phrase. I have to admit. Okay, so here we go. Obfuscate. Okay, I'll let you read through these. Alright. Now, because I got Obfuscate at level 2, I can activate it. I can actually walk, be invisible, as you can see, as long as I am in stealth. And if I stop, it actually stops the meter as well, so. Alright. There we go. And then demontation. Here we go. Alright. So if I okay, let's turn off Obfuscate and demonstrate what Veil Madness does. That's a neat effect as well with the hands. I don't remember that normally happening. As you saw there, my character's hand just like popped out to use the ability. That is new. Anyway, right. Chuck that over there. Dun, dun, dun. Me personally, I'd be quite suspicious that just came out, but that's just me.
Fucking humans. Gangbangers protecting their turf, man. I'm here thinking it's Sabat moving up in here. It's the fucking locals about to take one for the hood.
Do we lick these locals?
Yeah, they've probably seen too much. Here, take this 38. Fucking pea shooter, but a few shots in it will take down a human.
These kind of peas are undoubtedly deadly.
Well, I'm gonna want it back, so don't go die and lose it. I don't use guns much. They're noisy, they're clumsy, practically useless against vampires, but still, a kindred's gotta keep up with the times. And in modern-day Los Angeles, that means coming strapped.
Firearms sound foolish and feeble.
Well, yeah, some are more lethal than others, of course. Watch out for those shotguns. Ouch, those things can smart, I tell you.
I'll make sure to bypass any boomsticks.
Head up and clear out what's left of them. Can't have them running their mouths about any of this. I'm gonna shoot a stragglers.
Excuse me?
Outside.
I will do this deed. So yes, we get guns, but unfortunately we are pretty crap at guns. In fact, where are we? In fact, we're just equally crap with anything which doesn't involve our better hands. So, but we have to practice with the gun. So let's get him out. That's how bad I am. I mean, gonna shoot, missed it, hit it, missed it, missed it. In real life, to be honest, when I have used air rifles anyway, because in the UK we have quite stringent gun laws, so I never had an opportunity to really use a proper gun yet, but I like to think I've been pretty accurate so far in my life when it comes to actually using a sort of weapon, although I've been more better with crossbows, to be honest, than a bow, but that's just me. Anyway, so gonna make him go crazy, giggle. And we're going to feed off these, so I'm not too worried about losing my blood for the moment. Right. Feed, feed. And because we're in a combat zone, we can actually use our vampire thing, we can kill people and it doesn't make too much of a hassle. Right. Feed. And as you can see, because he's not there, so supposed to be like low-life gangbangers, thugs, whatever you want to call them, it also means that we don't get as much blood of them as we might want to. Okay, so I think that was everything that happened. Yeah.
That's it, kiddo. Just like that, and it's all over. Everyone slinks back to their corners of the city for the night.
Surely this blood drama continues.
Until the next night when the Camarilla finds some way to strike back. Parry, dodge, spin and all that, and so on and so on and so on.
These are the nightly battles of this ancient game.
Well, to be honest, we came at an interesting time, let's say. The Camarilla, the Sabat. Now, in LA, these are the new kids on the block. There's already plenty of kindred had stakes down in California long before them. Now,
Here's the annex, by the way.
Every ancient kindred rivalry playing out all over the city. A lot of tension out there. A lot of fear. A lot of jittery, high-strung predators clinging to their little pieces of eternity.
Hell is my eternal madness.
Oh, boy. I think they're looking for you outside. Guess you got a cab to catch. Was hoping to fill you in on a little bit more, but hell, you'll figure it all out.
We're gonna keep the gun. Actually, I don't really need it, so we will. Now take your boomstick.
If you make it back, stop in at the last round. It's this bar downtown here. I'll fill you in on the politics. Now that's the stuff that'll kill you. Good luck.
Yep, normally it is the politics that will always kill you in a game. So anyway, we've got some experience points. Thing. And here you go, Prince LaCroix, and we have a Haven. Havens is just a fancy name for your lair, essentially. Thing, I suppose there's Haven Assault, which, as you can see, being in the world of darkness in a very low-strung place, it looks pretty crap. But anyway, we're going to end this episode here. So I hope you enjoyed the first episode of this. Sorry yet again for the length. Okay, that was a creepy voice thing. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for the fact that it was an extra long episode, but it's just because I wanted to get the tutorial over and done with, and so now we can go straight into the main game. Thanks. So yeah, feel free to make any comments. If you have any questions about the World of Darkness or anything about the game, which, you know, if you're playing it yourself and you're unsure about, feel free to ask in the comments, and if I can't answer for you, I'm sure someone else could. Otherwise, I shall see you next time. Bye for now.